Thanks for joining us again at He Works Hard for the Honey. Brought you in a little closer than usual today because we have some neighborhood construction going on. And you'll notice I'm not geared up. Actually wanted to take a moment to answer a question from our friend Chris Burnell about swarming behavior. They're coming over to see what's going on and make their video debuts here. So swarming behavior is a really natural way for bees to spread out over an area when their home becomes too confined. Or when their home becomes too confined is actually the most natural, but there are a number of reasons bees swarm. You've probably heard me talk during inspections about how much of the frames are filled out, and I'll often say at 80% you want to build up, you want to give them more space. When bees are too confined, some of them won't be able to pick up the pheromone of the queen. And that's sort of what they live for. When there's a queen, there's sustainability. When there's not a queen, there's no reason to go out and forage. There's no next generation coming. And so when they can't pick up on her pheromone, they'll start to create a new queen. So out in nature, if bees had this much rum, this first super, and that became full, they'd become restless. They'd create it's called a supersedure cell, or a large cell for the queen to lay an egg in. And when she did, they would create a queen by feeding her the royal jelly, which is this very nutrient-rich syrup that they produce. And that's what makes a queen rather than a worker bee or a drone, is that the queen bee is brought up entirely on royal jelly. It allows her to have a more advanced and mature reproductive system that she can then lay viable eggs. When the queen has laid her egg in the supersedure cell, it's then brought up to be a mature queen, and there can't be two queens. So what will happen is once she hatches, the old queen, the previous queen, will leave the hive, and will leave the hive with half of the population. And they will move out anywhere up to 1.5 miles or so to find an ideal home. And sometimes, if there were to be a swarm cell or a supersedure cell in here and I knew they were going to swarm, I could take another box, I could put it maybe 15 feet in that direction or that direction, and the swarm would then find that area, decide it's a good place to live, and move in. They call it a swarm because the queen leaves and the other half of the population then leaves with her and sort of creates a cloud, and sometimes, quite honestly, a clump around her to protect her. I'll try to find some footage to add this coming week. I've been told, and I've never seen one in real life, that it's very startling to see. Because they don't have a home, they're actually don't act territorial. So they're really quite harmless when they're swarming, at least until they find an area to live. Chris, I hope this answers your question, and I look forward to more questions from you guys about what interests you about bees and beekeeping. Thanks for joining us.